All right, buddy. When you look at your bullpen, who are the candidates right now to go multi innings? And the reason that I asked that was I looked at the pitching schedule yesterday, and I think Stevenson was down for 2 innings. He ended up pitching one. Are you looking at trying to extend him out to multi innings? And where do Rodriguez and Chichi fall into this?
They fall into that group as well. So multiple inning guys who might be able, who might be asked to throw a couple are in no particular order: Chichi Gonzalez, Derek Rodriguez, Robert Stevenson, Yency Almonte, Jairo Diaz. Now there's always the component of a pitcher, maybe getting one out to close out an inning, then going back out again. I think all our relievers are very capable of doing that. Whether it's Bard to get an out in the eighth and maybe finish the ninth, Oberg the same, Kinley, Carlos Estevez. I think at given times during the course of a season, guys are going to be asked to get more than 3 outs or throw 1 inning. Obviously it will depend on their previous usage, where they are as far as their freshness, how many days off they had. All those things will add up to what we do on a given night. But if you look at Stevenson, minor league starting pitcher, can work his way through a couple innings. Yency Almonte, minor league starting pitcher. Chichi, starting pitcher who might be asked to go to the bullpen. Derek Rodriguez might be asked to go to the bullpen. Even Jordan Sheffield, if he makes the club, again, he was a minor league starting pitcher, prominent college pitcher as a starter, minor league starter. He's capable of going, an inning plus or 2. So there's a number of candidates.
Okay, with Stevenson, I know going into yesterday, walks were a little high. What are you seeing out of him? This is your first look at a guy who's out of options. You got in a trade for someone pretty valuable. What are you seeing out of him, and how does he fit in with this crew?
Well, yeah, you're right. I think statistically here in spring training, the walks are a little high. He's working on a couple things that, the pitching coach and Robert identified as things that will help him this season. He had a tough year last year. The previous year, solid year for the Reds. And he was valuable for the Reds as well. So, again, I think the key to him is to get him in the strike zone with the fastball. I think he has real confidence in landing the breaking ball. But the fastball command has been a little bit spotty this spring, so we got to make sure that we get that back on track.
Okay, and when you look at guys who, I don't know about multiple innings, but finish an inning and start a next one, you saw Bowden come in, gets a tough hitter, get a strikeout yesterday. Do you look at him more in a matchup situation, or maybe even, to do what you talked about with Bard and other guys?
Well, it depends on the game, but with the 3 batter minimum, a lot of times they're the matchups don't go your way, or you have to be able to get both left and right-handed hitters out. But again, to close out an inning, and if we do have a lefty to get a lefty out, that lefty, it'd be nice to get a lefty to get a lefty out if that was the case to end an inning. But if he doesn't get him, and then he's got to get the next person out, whether that's left or right-handed as well. So I think the challenge for all our relievers is to be capable against both left and right-handed hitters. I think specifically to Ben, with his stuff, probably plays equally against both right and left. So it's been encouraging to see what he's done this spring after not pitching last year and being a little bit hurt in the alternate camp. But it's nice to see that he's healthy and putting together a nice spring to get back on our radar.
And last one along those lines, Philip Deal, numbers not great this spring. There have been some really iffy outings and a few good ones. Where is he in this, and are those two in competition?
We're looking at a lot of guys in that role. Lucas Gilbreth has sort of flown under the radar this spring. He had one really rough outing. The other outings have been pretty solid. The strikeout number is really high here in spring training, which is good to see because that's a reflection of his stuff. I think he has 6 2/3 innings with 12 strikeouts. So he's got a good arm, Thomas. When you look at Gilbreth, he's got good stuff. Brian Gonzalez, we've had a look at a number of times here. His spring training stats aren't that overly impressive, but it was good to see him come in here and get into our system. And if he goes back to the minors, we'll see what he does as more of a full-time relief pitcher who is, just at the Double-A level. Ryan Rollison we probably view as a starter more than a reliever, but he could be eased in as a long mat at some point this year if we need some depth in the bullpen. So, we're looking at all our lefties to see what they're capable of doing, but it's good to see that Ben and Galbraith and have sort of taken a step forward amongst that group.
Yeah, with Galbraith, played at a major program in Minnesota, not the long catalog of minor league experience, but you feel like just from a maturity level, he's handling it pretty well to where he put himself on the big league radar to get a job.
Yeah, he's handling it great. And again, I think he has, I'd have to look, but he has over 300 innings in the minor leagues, I believe. Major college program, like you said, minor league starter, good head on his shoulder, and making the conversion, as a reliever. I think his stuff is going to play up. I think that's been noticeable already. We've seen that happen at times with a number of pitchers where you take them out of the rotation where they're, in a lot of cases, throwing the ball in the low to mid 90s, 90, 91, 2, 3, 4. And then you put them in the bullpen in shorter spurts. You do some work with them, and they pop up to 94, 95, 96, 97. So that's a good thing. He's got a good arm. He's powerful. He's strong. I like his arm stroke. The fastball's got life to it. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's first time at big league camp. Hasn't pitched above the lower levels, but he's got major league quality stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Go to Kyle Frederickson, Denver Post. Kyle, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, just a couple for me. First on Marquez, when you think about his offseason from the time of his last pitch of last year to his start today, what are the biggest steps that he's taken, or what do you think have been his biggest goals in improving just his overall arsenal going into the year?
Well, I think with Herman, I think it's been proven that he's got one of the best breaking pitches in baseball, right? If you ask other managers, coaches, hitters, he's probably in a list of the top guys with his breaking ball. It's the curveball and the slider are both devastating. He's got a live fastball that has upper level velocities. So with him, it's more his challenge and just trying to perfect the control and command of his fastball. And I think that's where, most of the focus is with Herman, with the fastball command, and the developing use of the slider to help him offset some left-handed hitters. But I think those are the two main focuses with Herman.
Gotcha. And just one more, in your history as a major league manager in spring training, what's sort of been your process for deciding on an opening day starter? Does a guy need to show you something? Do you need to just get towards the end and look at a complete body of work? And I'm just curious, with Marquez, it seems like, a lot of folks seem to think he's sure for that spot, but just where are you at in this spring training with identifying that opening day guy?
Well, if everything falls into place, I do think there's a little bit of a, what you've done in the past, your place on the team, your experience, your ability to handle opening day with poise, and it's a feather in the cap for me to be named opening day starter. And I think Herman, and along with a few of our guys, have done enough to warrant that nod. But it's a little bit about past performance. It's a little bit about who you are, your place in the game. A little bit who you are, your place on the staff. So there's a number of factors that go into that decision.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it, Kyle.
Anybody else have anything for Buddy this morning? All right, buddy.
Okay,
That's it.
thanks.